Have you ever wondered what happened to the legendary assassins Ezio and Altaïr after the events of the previous Assassin's Creed games? How did they end their lives, and what secrets did they uncover along the way? And what about Desmond, the modern-day descendant of both assassins, who is trapped in a virtual reality that simulates their memories? How will he escape and save the world from an impending catastrophe? If you are curious about these questions, then you are in the right place. In this video, I will explain the story of Assassin's Creed Revelations, the fourth main installment in the Assassin's Creed series. This game follows the adventures of three protagonists, Desmond, Ezio, and Altaïr, as they explore the mysteries of the past and the present and face the threats of the Templars, their sworn enemies. In this video, you will learn how Ezio travels to Constantinople, the capital of the Ottoman Empire, to find the hidden library of Altaïr, which contains his secrets and wisdom. How Ezio relives the memories of Altaïr, who lived in the 12th and 13th centuries and witnessed the rise and fall of the Assassin Brotherhood. How Desmond wakes up from his coma and finds himself on a remote island where he must enter the grand temple of the first civilization, an ancient race that created the world and left behind powerful artifacts. How the stories of the three assassins are connected and how they reveal the truth about the origin and destiny of mankind. So, if you are ready to dive into the epic saga of Assassin's Creed Revelations, then sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and let me know what other games you want me to explain in the future. Before we start, I want to warn you that this video contains spoilers for the game, so if you haven't played it yet, you might want to do that first or watch at your own risk. With this disclaimer, let's dive into the final step on epic saga of legendary assassin Ezio's journey.
Like this for a few days, maybe a week.
Call ahead. Tell them we're on our way.
As soon as we're clear.
After the events in the Colosseum vault which resulted in Lucy Stillman's death, Desmond Miles entered a comatose state and awoke in the Animus Black Room following being placed back in the machine by his father, William Miles, and Harlan T. Cunningham. While Sean Hastings stayed behind in Rome to attend Lucy's funeral, William and Rebecca Crane monitored Desmond's condition while they headed for the city of New York. Within the Black Room, Desmond met the virtual construct of Abstergo's 16th test subject, Clay Kaczmarek, who explained that in order for Desmond to regain his consciousness, he must relive the remaining memories of his ancestor, Ezio Auditore, until a sync nexus triggered. Entering a digital portal within the Black Room, Desmond began reliving the later life of Ezio, who was now in his early 50s and on his way to Masyaf. In March of 1511, Ezio traveled to Masyaf, after he discovered a letter by his late father regarding the secret library of the assassin mentor Altaïr Ibn-La'Ahad, that was rumored to contain his invaluable knowledge hidden beneath the old assassin fortress. There, he was greeted by a battalion of Templars led by Leandros, whose forces managed to overwhelm Ezio in a fight. In the midst of his execution, Ezio escaped and made his way back into the fortress. He later found the entrance to the library, but learned that it needed special keys in order for it to be unlocked. The hired worker that was present in the antechamber to the library mentioned to Ezio that the Templars found one of the keys beneath the Ottoman Sultan's palace, while speculating that the book held by Leandros would lead them to the others. With this in mind, Ezio set out of the fortress to take the book from Leandros, and eventually killed the Templar captain at Atlas village after a long chase. After obtaining the book, Ezio set out for Constantinople, where the rest of the keys were hidden. By May, Ezio had arrived at Constantinople, where he met a young man before docking. and was greeted by the leader of the local guild, Yusuf Tazim, right after his arrival. Yusuf gave Ezio a tour of the city, introducing him to the guild and showing what was left of the Byzantine Empire within the city. Ezio also received a hook blade and was taught how to use it. In return, Ezio later assisted with defending and retaking some of the city's assassin dens from the Templars. After helping the guild recruit a few new initiates and being taught how to use bombs, Ezio went to the first location of the keys, the old trading post of Niccolo and Mafio Polo, now a bookshop owned by Sofia Sartor, a woman whom Ezio first saw during his ferry to the city. After an introduction, Ezio found an entrance into the Eurebitan cistern, where he found the first key along with a tome and an encrypted map. That led to rare books which held the location of the other keys. Striking up a mutual agreement, Ezio made a promise with Sofia. If she helped decipher the map, he would let her borrow and print a few copies of the books. In the midst of his search, Ezio helps Yusuf save the Ottoman prince from a planned assassination. Dressed as a minstrel, Ezio manages to stop the assassination, which earns him the favor of the Prince Suleiman, the same young man whom he met on his way to the city. Following this, Ezio later meets with Suleiman in order to learn of the perpetrator behind the attack, whom they suspect to be the Janissary captain, Tariq Barlady. Tailing Tariq, Ezio soon finds out that the man had dealings with Manuel Paleologos, the former heir of the Byzantine throne. With this knowledge, Suleiman requests Ezio to assassinate Tariq. However, in his dying moment, Tariq reveals his forces were to ambush Manuel after gaining his favor. Before dying, Tariq entrusts Ezio to continue his plan and set sail for Derinquiu, Cappadocia. In between his tasks for Suleiman, Ezio continually searches for the books with Sophia's help, all the while gaining her favor and assisting her with some errands. Ezio grows fond of Sophia's company, but he could not reveal his affiliations or occupation to her, for he feared that it would endanger her. She and Ezio eventually has to part ways for the time being as Sophia sails for Adrianople. Before leaving, Ezio left Sophia to Yusuf's care during his absence. With each book, he was able to retrieve one of the keys, and with each one, he was able to relive some key moments of Altair's life. The first key showed Altair's heroic efforts in 1190, where Altair saved Masyaf from an attack by the traitor Harris. The second key detailed his mentor Al-Mualim's pyre, and Abbas Sophian's failed rebellion, through utilizing an apple of Eden which Altair later retrieved. The third memory detailed Altair's fall from power in 1228. After defeating Genghis Khan's army with his son Darim and wife Maria, Altair found out that Abbas had usurped command from Altair's appointed proxy Malik al-Sef, and that his younger son was murdered by Swami, Abbas' right-hand man. Altair confronted Abbas and his loyalists, but was overcome with rage and used the apple for revenge, which ultimately caused the death of both Swami and Maria. In the wake of this incident, Altair left Masyaf with Darim before Abbas could apprehend them. The fourth key showed Altair's return to power in 1247, with the help of several assassins who grew tired of Abbas's rule. He achieved this through Abbas's death at his hands, where Altair used his newly crafted hidden gun, all the while reliving Ezio's last memories. Desmond had several encounters with Clay in the Animus Island, overhearing conversations between his father, Rebecca, and Sean. Desmond also relived his own memories in a very different simulation, where he reached the core of the Animus. There, a recollection of his life was told. Desmond grew up in a small community called The Farm, but soon fled due to his parents' strict rule. There he drifted from place to place, eventually settling in New York, and found a job as a bartender at a venue named Badweather. His recollection lasted up until his capture by Abstergo and his time in their facility. Ezio arrives at Cappadocia by March 1512 with Pyri Reis, After destroying Constantinople's great chain, there he meets with Tariq's informant Dilara at the city of Derinquiu. Dilara is eventually captured after she and Ezio parted ways, and was being held by Shakalu, who is also Paleologo's partner. With haste, Ezio rescues Dilara, though soon afterwards she departs to save what was left of her men from Shakalu. In the city, they learn that Shakalu is planning to beat one of Dilara's men, Janos, to death. Ezio stops the public execution and kills Shakalu after a tough fight. Afterwards, Ezio burns the fake artillery given to Manuel by Tariq, which causes the artillery's authentic gunpowder to explode. The explosion ensues enough chaos to draw out Manuel Paleologos from hiding. Ezio then manages to corner Manuel after a long chase, and kills him before he can escape by the city's inner harbor. As a result, Ezio obtains the last Masyaf key from Manuel. Just then, Ezio sees Prince Ahmet on a ship with the Byzantines. He is uncle of Suleiman, with whom Ezio had previous encounters on several occasions. Ahmet reveals his true role as the Byzantine Templars' leader. There, he threatens Ezio into handing over the keys, and after the assassin's refusal, Ahmet threatened to hold Sophia Sartor captive. Despite Ezio's warnings, Ahmet goes ahead and sets sail back to Constantinople. Hurriedly, Ezio escapes the burning city and makes his way back to his boat, and on the way back, he relives the fifth key's memory of Altair's life. The fifth key reveals Altair's twilight years in 1257. Niccolò and Mafio Polo were preparing to leave for Constantinople to establish a guild after their stay in Masyaf. At the time, the invading Mongols drew near the city. Altaïr gave the brothers his codex as a parting gift, and escorted them out of the city with Darim, defeating any Mongol who drew near by using his Apple of Eden. As the brothers left on their horses, Altaïr gave him the keys, which he asked to be hidden from others so that the one who was meant to know the message could seek it out. Ezio later returns to Constantinople, hurriedly making his way to Sophia's bookshop. There he finds a platoon of assassins dead along with Yusuf, with a message for Ezio attached to his corpse via a dagger to the back. Filled with rage at the slaughter, Ezio makes his way to the harbor of Theodosius and storms the area with the assassins. There he finds Ahmet and threatens him for Sophia's location. However, Ahmet only agreed to release her on one condition: that Ezio meet him by the Galata Tower with all of the Masyaf keys. As Ahmet leaves, Suleiman reveals himself to Ezio and asks him to stop his uncle's ambitions, without killing him if possible. Ezio later meets with Ahmet after appointing a new leader for the Assassin's Guild. During the meeting, Ahmet has one of his men hold Sophia by the edge of the Galata Tower. Pressured into a decision, Ezio gives the keys to Ahmet and hurries to Sophia's rescue. However, the woman was only a decoy and the real Sophia was about to be hanged somewhere else. Ezio hurriedly makes his way to her, managing to save her in time. As Sophia recovers, Ezio watches as Ahmet's carriage leaves the city. He spurs himself and Sophia onto one of the carriages to give chase. Fortunately, Ezio manages to catch up to Ahmet by the city's countryside, eventually causing his carriage to fall along with Ahmet and himself. As they fight while falling, Ezio utilizes his parachute to save himself and Ahmet, managing to land safely. The assassin then retrieves the keys while contemplating what to do with Ahmet. As he did, however, Ahmet's brother, Selim, arrives with a platoon of Ottoman guards and janissaries. Surprised, Ahmet ordered the troops to stand down in the name of the Sultan. Though unbeknownst to him, Selim had been named the new Sultan of the Ottoman Empire. Selim then murders his brother by pushing him off of a nearby cliff. Meeting with Ezio, Selim goes on to threaten that Ezio will be killed if he returned to Constantinople, sparing him only due to Suleiman's good word. As tensions grew between the two men, Ezio's rage was only quelled by Sofia. As Selim leaves, so does Ezio and Sofia too, heading for Masyaf. After returning to Animus Island one last time, Desmond becomes witness to the Animus's scheduled deletion, seeing everything dissolve in front of him. Clay, knowing full well what was going on, embraces Desmond one last time, and then pushes him back into the digital portal, saving him from being deleted by sacrificing himself. Desmond hesitantly leaves Clay and the island and relives the last of Ezio's memories. Ezio and Sofia arrives at Masyaf, with Ezio explaining the history of the assassins and its creed to Sofia along the way. There, Ezio reflects upon his life and decides to retire after learning the contents of the library, and to spend the rest of his time with Sofia. Arriving at the library's door, Ezio utilizes the 5 keys and manages to solve the puzzle etched into it. He soon finds the library void of books except for the seated remains of the legendary assassin Altaïr. His corpse held one last key where his last major memory was imprinted. By the end of 1257, Altaïr had emptied the fortress and had all of his assassins dispersed. Meeting with Darim one last time, Altaïr ordered him to leave so that the fortress would be empty when the Mongols returned, while Altaïr stayed within the library along with the apple. Embracing his son one last time, Altaïr locked himself in the library and then placed the apple on a pedestal. The legendary assassin then sat on one of the chairs holding his last key and imprinted his memory before dying at the age of 92. After reliving Altair's final memory, Ezio goes to inspect the mentor's apple of Eden by the pedestal, though he decides it is best for the piece of Eden to stay where it was, before finally laying down his arms as a sign of his retirement. There, the apple gets activated as Ezio calls out to Desmond. The assassin admits and accepts his existence as a conduit for a message not meant for him, asking Desmond to make the bloodshed in his life mean something. As an apparition of Desmond appears, Ezio reaches out for him, triggering the sync nexus. Within the nexus, Desmond meets Jupiter. There, the ultimate fate of the first civilization is revealed. Their people had several temples built to study ways on how to save themselves from the coming of a great calamity. Each temple tried different methods in stopping the event and had their data subsequently transmitted to the Grand Temple. Despite their efforts, their methods proved to be ineffective, which eventually caused the downfall of their civilization, bringing them to near extinction as well as humanity. Jupiter then shows the location of the Grand Temple to Desmond, which was in New York. Jupiter, along with Minerva and Juno, entrust Desmond to stop the coming of the second catastrophe. After hearing the words of Jupiter, Desmond wakes up from his coma and is greeted by his father, Rebecca, and Sean. As he stands up, Desmond assures the team of what he needs to do. The team then exit the van and make their way to the Grand Temple. The game ends at this cutscene, teasing us that the next Assassin's Creed game is going to be set in New York. That's it for this video of Assassin's Creed Revelation story. I hope you enjoyed this video and that it helped you understand the story of Assassin's Creed Revelations. If you liked this video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next Friday.